All right, welcome back again. Today I am taking ICT, Information Communication Technology, in educational purposes like learning and then also teaching. This is interesting to look into various paradigms and then various educational models like enough STEAM education and then also 21st century skills and then also this TPAC framework and so on and so forth. They are actually very popular in ICT and an interface of learning and teaching. However, these tools and techniques, having those tools and techniques only is not sufficient. So over the 3 weeks of my immersion into the ICT classes, with the facilitator and more reflection on the course material and everything, I gathered a pretty interesting approach. I was encouraged to take a course, online course in Coursera on virtual teacher specialization. That actually opened up many ideas like why we have taken ICT as a support function in education, while Coursera has made ICT platform as the best university in the world. I mean, now even any university cannot compete with Coursera level of quality and then also diversity. So, for example, Harvard can offer some level of courses in their own domain, but if you go to Coursera, there are so many other university courses that you can specialize. Some universities are actually in one domain, they have expertise in one domain, and other universities have expertise in other domain. So what happens? So if I now this is very first class an online class that I have taken. Though I have delivered online classes, I have 12,000 students in some of the platforms, but still I haven't taken myself a course as a student. I mean, when I went through this course, I realized the potential of ICT in education, not only in other sectors, but also in educational sector. Business sector has, at some level, capitalized ICT as a tool for sustainable competitive advantage. However, this competitive advantage in business sector has not exactly translated in school systems or college systems or even private schools and colleges. They have embraced ICT just as a support function. So my notion here is that the management system, the principals and then college administrators and deans and faculty members and everybody need to really understand this paradigm, the ICT as a tool for support in the classroom versus ICT as a platform to create a sustainable experience, very interactive experience, very inquiry based education, very 21st century skills development tools and platforms. Okay, so that was the biggest awakening. And then what I have done over the weeks, for example, in first lecture, we went through some of these, like if I look into this syllabus that we have gone through, in that we had a chance to actually get into the Google ecosystem. I mean, Google for education is massive, though Microsoft is also into that domain, and then other players, open source providers, and everybody is trying to get a pie of this whole business. But still, I found Google ecosystem very interesting after getting exposure to this class and the discussions. So if you look into some of the tools that we have gone through, it may be interesting for you also to try. For example, in the first class, what we have done was one task. What we have done was creating a 5 minute video lecture with Screencastify. This is inside this Google ecosystem. You can have that as an add-on in Chrome, and then I actually record 5 minutes short videos and screens and everything. Like for example, what I'm doing now in this YouTube video, I can go live, but I cannot show my screen. So if I can have screencastify, I can easily show my screen. I can talk at the same time on the camera that I'm doing now. This is an added advantage. That was great awakening, though I am not yet sure whether I can get that free. It is paid service, I think, for larger size videos and timelines. Then second one, what we did was presentation on Google Slides. Previously, I used to do PowerPoints, but the beauty of Google Slides is that you can embed links, you can have same window, you can search the internet scholar and everything, and then actually put pictures, insert pictures, and then diagrams and everything live on the web. Of course, Microsoft also has online OneDrive, whatever they have, like Google Drive we have here in Google ecosystem. But still, I haven't used in the past Google Slides as I have done here. And this is also a great awakening. Of course, Google is free in this sense, and then in for Microsoft, you have to buy a license for Microsoft packages before you can actually enable OneDrive, and then also all the packages inside that software package. So that is amazing awakening. Also, like understanding the free service, but at par as good as Microsoft. So perhaps in the future, I will be switching into Google Slides. That's another observation or reflection. And then the biggest surprise, and then also the biggest understanding of this whole session for me was this tool called AutoCAD. This is an add-on in Google Sheets. In Google Sheets, like enough, in Google Forms, we created a very simple form and then collected name and email address. And we went to Canva to design certificate that I would like to actually give to the participants. This is automated process. This is interesting. And in Canva, you have so many templates that you can get, and out of the templates, you can easily design your preferred certificate, and then download that, save in Google Slides, upload in Google Slides, and then you can insert a text in the name that you want to put, like kind of in this how you call it, in HTML, just like coding, you have like up to less than name, and then greater than, and close that one as a reading text, like enough tag. So we put the name there, and then actually uploaded that in Google Slides. That's kind of the image file that we got from the Canva, and then that image file we inserted into Google Slides to have this whole certificate ready. And we inserted the tag, the name into that certificate. So now, when you go to this AutoCAD easily reads, and when you upload that certificate into AutoCAD, it all easily reads the tag, and then merges with the Google Slides name and then also email address. And the beauty of that is that it gives now automated certificate through email to your inbox, just like magic. This Canva is very, very powerful. Similarly, mail merge is another one that we learned. I haven't tried that myself, but I looked that into the classroom, and that was also very interesting. Mass mailing, automated system, and so thank you note and effective communication all became easier. So with this case, this small case, and there's so many add-ons, there's so many tools that you can use for effectiveness and efficiency and everything. Here, what I'm trying to reason with is that this is efficiency and effectiveness at the same time. Management is all about that. Leadership is all about that. So earlier, at the cost of efficiency, we were losing effectiveness. Now, this is very, very effective communication system. Like, for example, when I filled an admission form to your college, if I get a thank you note automated system automatically that thank you for applying and this is the event that you would like to join, this is the link, whatever, and then give the information right away. The form is triggered, the email is triggered just after the submission of the form. This is very good, effective communication and it's a respect for the participants and the customers and students. That became very powerful example for me to actually learn this kind of automated tools. Of course, automation and then human interactions and then human touch can be debated because if you automate all the processes and if you don't feel and understand the value of human interaction and touch and feel, perhaps you will lose so many things in between. And potential students and the customers can be lost. However, the initial touch points, wherever you have the interactions, they may be face to face or whatever you can design. But afterwards, once you have actually built the relationship, then automated systems also can help and build the effectiveness and efficiency at the same time. This is the biggest awakening for me as well. Earlier, when I was teaching strategic management and principles of management, I used to think efficiency and effectiveness as a trade-off because sometimes when you are running for efficiency you lose effectiveness and vice versa, but with this kind of tools you have a possibility that you can build and inbuild all of these kind of efficiency and effectiveness at the same time. It is not a trade-off actually. So simultaneous pursuit of efficiency and effectiveness in your school system, in your curricular system, in your delivery system is a possibility. And then during the process, not only this, and of course, like, when we make presentations through the Google Slides, we took the educational practices and policies. I built one whole presentation on connectivism. I delivered a lecture on, I mean, in YouTube itself on the path of all of those paradigms in education, philosophical paradigms in education. In the theory and practice, we're not connected with the connectivism. But in this discourse, somehow the facilitator actually introduced the concept, the keyword, connectivism. And that opened up a plethora of search and understanding and exposure and learning and debate for myself. Thanks to that, I have actually built that, delivered that video also, and then also I'm now thinking how machine learning and then also artificial intelligence and cloud computing, 5G, and then virtual reality, augmented reality, and then also all avatar, right? Digital avatars and so all of those things. How those things can be embedded into our curricular process, our extracurricular process, in our systems of knowledge delivery and learning process. That is the search now in a couple of weeks going ongoing. I'll update that further with you. But when I looked into these kind of challenges and preparedness in the classes and also in the classrooms and schools, I have understood a couple of issues that I would like to share with you. The obstacles are that the use of ICT as an effective tool for student learning inspired a growing debate among educators and policymakers. Due to the COVID 19 and everything that we saw, the digitalization is a moving agenda and also a strong agenda. However, the implementation failure and lack of teacher support by the ICT has been spotted as major problems. Then also there is the absence of shared vision because implementation failure is the absence of shared vision among the participants, and then also the leadership is not being able to actually deliver that message. And there are so many objectives, like some people are pulling in their the ICT benefits it to their way, some other people are pulling to another way, students are looking for something else, and so on and so forth. So this is also actually having a very massive effect into the seamless manner to support an external curriculum objectives is missing, right? So when you actually have this mismatch between values of the teacher and the technology initiative, it will cause definitely the failure. So be careful about it. And then also if you look into ways to actually train the teachers. Like, for example, I am doing myself because I'm not pretty savvy in all the tools and technologies and automational processes. So I'm now learning myself at the age of 50 also. So then similarly, the numerous professional development opportunities must be provided for the faculties, a shared vision must be prepared, and time for professional interaction and planning must be done. So if you do not do that, then this is going to fail, right? So that's kind of the way we have to think. All the teachers and administrators and policymakers must develop unifying set of goals and that links technology initiatives to curricular goals. Teachers are provided the sufficient time, resources, and opportunities to implement the use of technology in the classroom. During this process of if there is a mismatch between teachers' values and the school's values, and then also the ICT enabled processes and thinking, then there is a mismatch. So you have to foster a positive climate that allows teachers to engage in risk taking and modifying their beliefs of how students learn in a technology advanced environment. And that's not an easy task, right? You have to improve the teaching conditions, right? You have to also have technological skills for the teachers. You have to train them pretty well. Even in our classroom, when we were the professional teachers in the classroom, almost more than 50% of the participants even didn't know what is Google Docs system, Google systems like that they can use in their classrooms, right? So that's very, very alarming. And then you have to build accountability, right? At the same time, you have to think the outcome. You have to actually, if you get good result by using the ICT, then you have to think how to actually make that as a celebration and the reward for the faculty. Build some kind of amazing ways to actually integrate the seamless connections between students, teachers, and then parents, right? And that way, you will be able to come up with a very effective, effective way to actually develop this kind of curricular activities and extracurricular activities as well, right? So this tech generation, kind of the students are better equipped in technology and ICTs than ourselves. So sometimes it is imperative that we also teach ourselves to that level. Of course, you can facilitate through the students, but that is not always easy. So then, if you look into the teachers, that PowerPoint and other presentation programs will have a profound effect on student assignments and homework projects. But interactivity, like for example, in some of the classes we are using this KWL form. So K means I know whatever I know on the topic, and then a subject, and then the syllabus that you are teaching. And W means want to know. That means what I want to know more than this, whatever I know so far, and what is the gap that I would like to fulfill based on the introductory note that you have provided. And then at the end, L means the learning that will be filled at the end of the curriculum or the end of the lesson, end of the syllabus, whatever. So when you know this gap, what I know and what I want to know, and then what will be the learning at the end, then whether this has fulfilled the gap or not, you can assess for each and every student at the end of the syllabus, at the end of the class, at the end of the curriculum, at the end of the session, whatever you can design. This is a very simple thing that you can do in Google Docs. In participatory manner, everybody can log in and then actually they can write there right away. This is very powerful for interactivity, right? So, what are the questions that you have to ponder and discuss to make these kind of activities and then interactions and participations and empowerment possible? What you have experienced in your own work with regards to the use of ICT? That is a very good question. If you have noted changes in your own philosophy or practice, please describe them with reference to the articles you have read. So you have to think that kind of reading and digesting and discussing culture inside the school. There should be quality circles and ICT circles and then also STEAM circles to digest this kind of learning and all the practices, disseminate those practices, right? Then if implementation is successful and there is adequate teacher support, does teacher disposition and style of teaching play a role in the success of ICT initiatives? Think that one. This is very, very powerful. And also, last one, if a true partnership between education and technology is inevitable, that's going to be the future for sure. How do we, as educational leaders, envision our teaching environment 5, 10, or 20 years from now? This is the biggest question that everybody has to ask. I would like to thank and encourage everybody to go through this video, have interactions and comments into the link provided, subscribe the channel, and then keep on following my videos. I wish I can do this every 3 weeks, 4 or 5 videos on my topics of interest. This is Dr. Krishna from University of Health and Guyana in Kathmandu University. Thank you very much for listening, and then we wish that this will generate a debate in your classroom and in your practices. Thank you very much. Bye.